Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday night live for a change. Excuse me, from the Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you all had a good festive period and are back on with it this week. And we are just over halfway through game week 21. There was a match last night. West Ham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. And we have some managerial news as well. Manchester United have got rid of Mr. Amorim, and Mr. Maresca has gone from Chelsea. Leroy Rossignol is in at Chelsea, and currently Darren Fletcher is caretaking Manchester United. So it'll be interesting to see who they get. And we've got some team news from Chelsea. Manchester United also playing tonight. We'll get team news from them shortly. Evening to John Boy in the chat. How are we doing? If you get the team news from the other games, John, if you'd be kind enough to put it in, that will be very kind of you. And we will first have a look at the lineups that have been announced for the 7:30 games. And we have some unknown players at Manchester City tonight. They line up Donnarumma, Ake, Alain, who's a youngster, I'm led to believe, Kusanov, Nunes, Gonzalez, Reinders, Silva, Doku, Foden and Haaland. So Cherky, Rodri and O'Reilly on the bench. For Brighton, they line up Verbruggen, Kadioglu, Dunk, Van Heck, Hinshelwood, Gross, Ayari, De Kuyper, Gomez, Matoma and Ruta. You'll notice for both Elaine and Gross that they have stars against them. That's because they still need to be added to the game. It's a shame we couldn't get that done ready for this week, but we were waiting for the other games to update the prices so we can get ours done. They will be ready to go for the next game week. Fulham played Chelsea. So Fulham lineup: Leno, Cuenca, Anderson, Diop, Robinson, Kearney, Berge, Castagna, Smith Rowe, Wilson and Jimenez. For Chelsea, Sanchez back in goal, Cucurella, Chalobah, Adarabioyo and Gusto, Caicedo, Santos, Pedro Neto, Enzo Fernandez, Palmer and Delap. Everton v Wolves. Everton are Pickford, Mikolenko, Keane, Tarkovsky, O'Brien, Igrabunum, Garner, Grealish, Armstrong, McNeil and Barry. Wolves, Sarr, Krejci, Bueno, Mosquera, Hugo Bueno, Mane, João Gomez. Mane's another one that we're getting added for the next game week. Arias, Chachuchwa, Huang and Arakadari. Palace are, I think that's an unchanged side again. Henderson, Gehi, Lacroix, Cambo, Mitchell and Jeremy, I think, are playing at wing back. They've got Hughes. Oh, no, it's Devaney. Sorry, Devaney's at wing back. Hughes and Wharton with Jeremy, Johnson and Mateta. For Villa, Martinez, Dean over Matson, Lindelof, Konsa, Cash, Tielemans and Kamara, Sancho, Rogers, McGinn and Watkins. Brentford v Sunderland, Kelleher, Henry, Collins, Ajer, Coyote, Janelt, Yarmuluk, Sharda, Lewis Potter, Jensen and Igor Thiago. For Sunderland, it's Ruffs, Alderete, Ballard, Mukiele, Hume, Xhaka, Gertruda, Adringa, Lafay, Rigg and Brobby. And then last but not least, Bournemouth against Tottenham. We have Petrovic, Truffert, Senesi, Hill, Alex Jimenez, Cook, Scott, Krupi Jr., Tavernier, Semenyo, who might be his last game for Bournemouth, and Evan Nielsen up front. And for Tottenham, they are Vicario, Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Pedro Porro, Bentancur, João Paulinho, Bergval, Simons, Tell and Kolo Muani. Well, so John's just put in the chat, so Max Alleyne is the son of the former Gloucestershire cricketer Mark Alleyne. I remember watching Mark Alleyne play. He was very good in the initial when ODI cricket was becoming popular. So that's the team news done. So let's go through what we're going to see today. We'll go through the team. We'll have a look at the insights page, which is yesterday's captains. We'll do the match centre for the weekend's games. We'll have a look at the leaderboard. Got some slides. We're going to look at transfer counts midweek, the fixtures as far as we can see, and a little bit of what we can't. We've got a question from FPL Fish, who's asked what would an overhaul team look like if we had one now in January like it used to be. We'll have a look at Rob T's graphics for today's and tomorrow's games. Then we'll have a look at the charts for ownerships and passes, etc. as usual. Have a look at my team. No moves today. And then we'll let everybody get on and watch the football. So hopefully be ready for 7:30. Right, let's have a look at my team. So a decent week for a change. 79 points, up from, I think it was 104th when we did this last Tuesday, up to 70th. I've been bobbing around between 50 and 100, up and down like a strumpet's 90. Hopefully we can get a bit of progress now. So no changes so far this week. Spoiler alert, there might be some tomorrow. So in goal was Ruths. At the back, Van Heck, who was one of my unexpected captaincy heroes, hasn't happened for a while on Saturday with his 11-pointer, clean sheet, shot bonus and passing tier. Timber is currently highlighted as captain for tomorrow. Shalabar, very disappointing. Not much going on there. Now this is something new that people might not have seen on these team layouts. If you click on just 2 points at the bottom, it will give us what happened to him last week. So Chelsea, no passing, obviously no clean sheet, so just 2 points. But if you click on the shirt, it will give you his points per game, and you can toggle this backwards and forwards as much as you like. So interesting to see that last game just 2 points, game before no passing bonus again, game before that passes but goals conceded and a yellow card, and the game before that just 2 goals conceded, no passing. So one set of passing bonus in the last 4 games for Shalabar. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes with the new manager. I'll click back off there. So yeah, Virgil, 4-pointer. Another captaincy success yesterday with Anderson, who had an assist and tackle bonus, I think. Yeah, tackles tier 2 and an assist for 16 points as captain. Rogers, who came in last week for the so-called injured Rice, who wasn't very injured at all. Enzo, last-minute equaliser for Chelsea. He has been on the chopping block so many times, but now I think he's going to stay for a while at least. Chelsea's fixtures improve. Haaland, captaincy fail, 6-pointer. Ekiteke no-show, but word on the street from Arne Slot is that he's possible for tomorrow, but should be ready for the next game, which is home to Burnley. And then Cunha, who scored, he might not be long for the team. I assume he's going to be playing tonight. Evening, Dave Hannigan. How are we doing, Dave? So let's have a look back on these match centres. I've dragged us to the bottom so we can see who scored the points this week. So first match was Villa 3, Forest 1. Watkins and John McGinn with a brace. Morgan Gibbs-White with a goal for Forest. Tier 3s passing for Konsa, Tielemans and Kamara for Villa. And Kamara with tackles as well. For Forest, just Dominguez with 5 tackles for tier 3. Brighton 2, Burnley 0, quite comprehensive this. Goals for Rutter and Iari. Tier 3s for Duncan Van Heck with a passing for Brighton. And Florentino again for Burnley with the tackles. Wolves 3, West Ham 0. It's all falling apart at West Ham, I'm afraid. Goal scorers were Arias, Hwang with a penalty, and Mane. No goals for West Ham, but the tier 3s were all for West Ham. Areola with the saves, Scholes with the tackles, Walker-Peters with the tackles, and Mavropanos with the passes. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. Goal scorers were Evan Nielsen and Krupi Jr. for Bournemouth. Gabriel, having given away a goal, he scored nearly immediately. And then Declan Rice with a brace. The aforementioned injured Declan Rice. No tier 3s at all in the game. And then Sunday's matches, early kick-off, Leeds 1, Manchester United 0. I'm glad I missed this. It wasn't very good by all accounts. Goal scorers were Aronson and Cunha. Tier 3... oh, excuse me. Tier 3s for Stack with the tackles for Leeds, and Heaven and Ugarte with the tackles for Manchester United. Everton 2, Brentford 4, the Thiago show. He got a brace, and Collins got the second goal for Brentford. Beto and Barry with the goals for Everton. Tier 3s, Tarkowski, Garner, Igrabunim with the tackles for Everton. Tackles for Yarmulke for Brentford, and Thiago with 5 shots for a tier 3. Move that up a bit. Yeah, Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. Goal scorers were Wilson and a worldie from Reed. The Liverpool Verts, which looked offside. Not quite sure I've seen something quite as glaringly offside given as onside. Not since the Luis Diaz incident at Tottenham anyway. Goal scorers were Verts, and Gakpo. Tier 3's only one was Van Dijk with the tier 3 passes. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Goal scorers were Reinders and Fernandez. Tier 3's O'Reilly with the tackles, along with Nunes and Rodri. And Ruben Diaz, who's now injured, along with Gvardiol. Gvardiol probably won't see this season. Diaz is going to be out for 6 weeks. And Fernandez, he had 7 tackles, 2 shots on target, and a goal for a 12-pointer. And then last night, the first match of the midweek, the last of the festive, if you will, fixtures. Murillo with an own goal to score for West Ham, and then Dominguez and Gibbs-White with a late penalty. Controversial, I didn't see it, so I can't really comment, but I'm led to believe it was a controversial penalty, and no tier 3s at all. These were the insights for the captains from last night. You find this on the site. It's on the mobile section as well. Just click on there. So Bowen and Anderson were both 24%. Next highest in was 14%, no captain selected at all. It's probably a good game to skip, in all honesty. Spoiler alert, my captain from yesterday will be gone tomorrow. There was a world where he was going to be gone today, but that world has slightly changed. But I will show you about that when we look at the plan. Then 2 more over 10% was Gibbs-White and Paquetá. So the leaderboard, top of the shop still is Alex with Fortuna Muckledorf, 56 points for the week. He just holds on over by 2 points at the top of the table. So Alex was top on Christmas Day. Dennis O'Sullivan, 82 points for the week with Deladida. Up to 1672. Joint third, 1 point behind. Both with 57 for the week are Tony Davis with his FT Lauderdale Strikers and Walter Good, Wallymandius Giants. Aaron Smith with Bunnet, 54 points, 1667. Johnny Curry with his JC Milan. I enjoyed the Solio show, Johnny, this week. 81 points, 1659. Thomas Lavelle, Blue Sky Thinking, 80 points for 1658. Tim Barry, back in the top 10. Well done, Tim. With his Can I Just Shock You, 71, 1652. Martin Brown, a Gary Rowell World 11, 70 points for 1647. And Joseph Corley in 10th, amusing name. 104 points, so the top score in the top 10 for the game week so far, 1641. Okay, so let's have a look at transfer use. So this is the change from last midweek. So overall down 0.38 to 35.32. Top 10 down 0.44 to 27.06. Top 50 down 1.98, so almost 2 to 25.66. And in the top 10 down 1.2 to 24.2. We'll do a full update and post it on the official account after tomorrow's games. And then we get a bit of a break over the FA Cup weekend and the EFL Cup next week before we reconvene for game week 20, I think it'll be 23. So fixtures as far as we can see for now. So we are currently up to March the 1st. The March fixtures will probably be out towards the end of January. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it'll be sometime round about our game week 24. So we have the layout there. So single game days that are in already is Arsenal v Liverpool tomorrow. Brighton v Bournemouth on Monday the 19th of Jan. Everton v Leeds on Monday the 26th of Jan. Sunderland v Burnley on Monday the 2nd of February. Leeds v Nottingham Forest on Friday the 6th of February. I've missed. No, I didn't. It's there. It's Everton v Leeds was on the 26th of Jan. I've got my Leeds fixtures the wrong way around in my head there. Arsenal v Brentford, or Brentford v Arsenal on Thursday the 12th of February. Everton v Man United on Monday the 23rd of February, and Aston Villa travelling to Wolves on Friday the 27th of Feb. So that game 72 and 76 still a little bit in doubt due to the European tournaments, whether Arsenal or Aston Villa are going to need a playoff. The chances are they won't. And you'll notice I've put a sort of a coloured cornered rectangle around between Thursday the 12th of February and Friday the 27th of February, because there is a chance that we could get an extra game in that one of those midweeks, and it'll be Arsenal and Wolves taking part. Now, the reason behind this is to do with the EFL Cup, which the final is in March, and if Arsenal beat Chelsea, they will reach the final. And similar to how Liverpool had a fixture against Aston Villa brought forward in similar circumstances last year, because they didn't have a playoff round in the Champions League. The chances of Arsenal having a playoff in the Champions League are very slim. They are almost certain to finish in the top 8, which makes me think there is a good chance that, and it will probably be round about the 20, the week of the 19th is a Thursday, could be, because they don't like to clash with Champions League games if they don't have to. So it could be a Thursday game, Arsenal v Wolves. Wolves are due to play Palace on the Saturday. So yeah, round about the 18th, 19th, something like that as a possibility for Arsenal v Wolves. The other EFL Cup semi-finalists, Chelsea and Newcastle, are quite likely to have Champions League playoff games. I think they're currently in 12th and 13th in the Champions League. And Manchester City, if they reach the final, they're due to play Crystal Palace on EFL Cup final weekend, and Crystal Palace are already into the playoff round in their Conference League, so that one won't be brought forward. Those other games, apart from Arsenal, if they do any of those, Chelsea, Manchester City or Newcastle, make the EFL Cup final, their game will almost certainly be pushed back rather than brought forward. But EFL Cup first legs semi-finals are next week. We'll have a better idea after that, and sort of tune in next time round. We'll sort of get an update, but rest assured, everybody will know as soon as we do when these games are going to be brought forward. Well, John Boy's just put in the chat that Bruno Fernandes starts for Manchester United. Good to see him back. We've got the Newcastle team as well. Pope, Miley, Thiaw, Cher, Hall, Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton, Barnes, Voltemada back in the side, and Gordon. And for Leeds, Perry, Rodon, he's back. I've only just got rid of him in a different game. My goodness me. Bijol, Struijk, Justin. So that means Goodmanson isn't. Oh, Goodmanson is playing. Okay, so Rodon, Bijol, Struijk, then Justin and Goodmanson are the wing backs. Gruev, Ampadu, Stack, Calvert-Lewin, and Aronson. Thanks, John. So FPL Fish asked me if January overhaul was a thing, what would the team look like? So this is what I've put together. I have Ruths in goal, Shalabar, Van Heck, Gabriel and Saliba at the back. It is a 4-5-1. Enzo, Rice, Rogers, Palmer, Neto and Haaland as the lone striker, costing 98.9 and 1188 points they've scored so far. The average ownership of these guys in the top 100 is 30.4. There's a Haaland obviously at 97. Shalabar's the only other one over 50 at 63, and Rogers is closing in on 49. So, and the reason I put this together is with a plan to making a couple of moves. So Van Heck is in the side so he can cover the single game day that we'd already discussed against Bournemouth. And then an opportunity to move him on for Calvert-Lewin, who is going to cover the two back-to-backs, well, not quite back-to-back, but Monday, and then the following Friday as single game days for Leeds. They place Everton and Forest, and I think that'll be a fairly common move for others as well. I had Neto in for Chelsea. The reason being I needed somebody that I could then move to Munoz. I couldn't find another striker I wanted. If João Pedro had been playing, or Delap, but Delap's playing today, you never know if João Pedro will play next week, or it could have been Voltemada for Newcastle, but there's no guarantee he's going to play every game. So in the end I went Pedro Neto. The fixtures are great for Chelsea, and then I can easily move him on to Munoz on either the 8th of February or the following Sunday. Calvert-Lewin then made way for Thiago to keep with the formation 4-4-2, and then an opportunity to bring in Fernandes for Everton v Manchester United at the end of February. I mean, it could be if United get ticking, we'll bring in Fernandes anyway, but that comes to the end of Chelsea's fixture run. We'll just put it back to the fixtures. Chelsea have got a great run coming up. They play Fulham, then Brentford, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Leeds and Burnley. And then there was the opportunity to move from Palmer to Bruno Fernandes after Manchester United. Fair enough, they've got Burnley away today, but then they play Manchester City, Arsenal, Fulham, Tottenham and West Ham. So I'm thinking we keep Palmer for the great run of games and then move him to move him to Bruno. So yeah, that was the team, and that's how it looked. How many of those have I actually got at the minute? Ruths, Shalabar, Van Heck, Enzo. That's 4. Rogers and Haaland. So I've got 6 of those at the minute. So these are from Rob T and Solio team, goals and projections for this week. So West Ham and Forest, they got nearly right, 1.24 and 1.42. It was 2-1 to Forest. So tonight they have gone for Palace 1.23 and Villa 1.46, less than 30% chance of a clean sheet either side. Bournemouth 1.6, Tottenham 1.28, less than 30% chance for a clean sheet again. Brentford 1.57, Sunderland 0.97, Brentford have got 38% chance. Manchester City, highest goal scorers of the week at 2.45 and a 32% clean sheet chance. That's probably less likely now, having seen the team. Fulham 1.25, Chelsea 1.6, nobody with a 30% chance for a clean sheet. Everton 1.57, Wolves 0.91, so Everton a 40% chance of a clean sheet, but Wolves scored 3, admittedly against West Ham last weekend. Burnley, this is Manchester United, we've got the team news for that as well, thanks John. So Burnley are Dubravka, Walker, Laurent, Esteve, Humphreys, Perez, Medjbury, Ugochukwu, Lewis, Edwards and Breuer. For United, they are Lamans, Dalot, Heaven, Martinez and Shaw, Casemiro, Ugarte, Dorgu, Fernandez, Cunha and Sesko. So it looks like Dorgu continues his attacking wing-back role there, is he? If it's a 4-4-2, Dalot will be right back, Shaw will be left back. If it's a 3-5-2, it could be Heaven, Martinez and Shaw, with Casemiro and Ugarte holding with Dalot and Dorgu giving some width, which pushes Bruno Fernandes further up the field. So we're interested to see how he goes. Then the later kickoffs tonight, Newcastle 1.79 and Leeds 1.02. Newcastle a 36% chance for clean sheet. Then Arsenal 1.92 against Liverpool 0.95. Arsenal 39% chance for clean sheet. I wonder when the last time they had almost 40% chance for clean sheet against Liverpool. How times change. Okay, so let's have a look at some data for you guys. Why is that showing? Well, that's because I was looking for something else. Let's put this back. That's why I was trying to find another player for the overhaul team. It just goes to show that these filters do work. Let's put these back, put the values back. There we go. So, top of the shop, still by a considerable distance, almost half as many points again as the next best in. Here's Haaland at 181. Ruben Diaz, 124. He'll be dropping like a stone soon. Semenyo, 121. I'd expect him to start dropping as well. Unlikely to play as often. Shalabar 119. His clean sheets are going to come back in fashion, I think. It'll be interesting how his passing bonus goes. Mateus Nunes, who's doing quietly well, at 117. Riffs absolutely flying at 114. Thiago 112. These moves that I made to take Thiago and Raul out for captaincy guys of Cunha and Ekiteke definitely backfired. I wonder if there's a moral there, but we will go back for captaincies again next time round, I expect. Pickford back in the top 10, second highest scoring keeper. Fernandez now back playing, he can move on again from 107. Timber 106, Van Heck 105. Ray 104, Rogers 103, Enzo 102, Munoz 101. Be interested to see when he's back. Bruno G been flying, not quite so much under the radar because he's been a popular-ish pick, but he's living up to his price billing. That's what I would say now. Sanchez 99, Gray 98, linked with a move to Manchester City to cover for their injury crisis. Mateta 98, Calafiori still injured, 97, Foden 97, Reece James quietly doing well, 97. Mitchell, still part of the Palace. They're tiring a bit now. He's dropping a bit, but there's 96 points for his price has gone well so far. Gvardiol, injured, probably won't see him again. He's going to start dropping out at 95. And Dean Henderson, who's the fourth goalkeeper that's my phone going off as a reminder to make any transfers, but I'm not making any now. Yeah, Dean Henderson, the fourth goalkeeper in the top 25. And these are the points per 90. So Haaland still right at the top. Have a look who's picking their nose, sticking their nose above the parapet there. So Matheus Nunes at nearly 7.5, Munoz at 7.25, then a couple high sixes and nearly 7 at the bottom end. Calafiori, Reece James, and Gvardiol. Have a look at the tier points. So Van Heck still at the top here at 46. Elliot Anderson's closing back, but he's obviously played a game more now at 45. Enzo Fernandez, I mean, as I said earlier, how many times can you nearly get rid of these guys and they're still in the side? And he's likely to stay. It's on 42. Then we've got Haaland, Chalobah, Rice, high 30s. 35 then for Mateus and Palhinha. Virgil van Dijk at 34. Then we come down Ruben, Szoboszlai, Neco Williams. William Saliba, another one whose passing's died off a bit. Still getting it, but not as often. Caicedo, he's a 3-match ban, it's not doing him much good there. Lewis Dunk has not played as many games as Van Heck, and he's only getting passing, whereas Van Heck's got some tackling and some shots as well. Bruno Fernandes, bound to be driving up from there. Dubravka with the best of the keepers. Nico Gonzalez, 31. Be interesting to see how he goes with Rodri, probably after that shirt. Injuries might do something different for House City lineup. Bruno G there on 30, alongside Zubamendi. Semenyo, 28. Interesting to see his minutes. Roofs there, 28. Florentino, 28. He's been tackling away, not doing Burnley much good, but he's getting some points for it. And then Gravenberch and Konate of Liverpool, both on 27. Have a look at the top 100 ownerships. These are dropping down a bit. The curve's getting a little more, a bit more gradual, should we say? So Haaland 97, next best in is Timber at 2/3, 67, Chalobah 63, Thiago 56, Saka 52, Rodgers definitely shot up 49, Matheus Nunes at 46, Ekitike 44. I wonder if anybody's going to take him out today. Raya 41, who's the top owned keeper. Van Heck and Foden at 36, Semenyo 32, Cunha, Roofs, Gehi in the high 20s, Enzo, Virgil, Elliot Anderson, Bruno G and Jarrod Bowen in the low 20s. I think there'll be a few moving Bowen on now. And then in the teens, we've got Ruben Diaz, Harry Wilson, Granit Xhaka, Cole Palmer, who I think might be getting some ownership from Bowen today, I would think, and Van der Ven. And these are how it deals with the combined points. So we need to look at those that are sticking the nose higher up the graph. We have the likes of the Raya and Riffs, also Foden and Ruben Diaz, scoring more points than ownership would suggest, and obviously those at the bottom end are going to have higher ownership than points. And we'll have a look at how these guys are getting their points as usual. So for passes now at the top, we have Tosin and Dunk. They are in the green at over 75 per 90. In the orange, Curtis Jones, Saliba, Virgil van Dijk, Ruben Diaz, Nico Gonzalez and Van Heck. For the shots, only Haaland, and he's only just getting the 2. Tackles, Palinia is now in the green at 5.3. In the orange, we have Ugarte, Florentino, Irabunum, and Magassa. And for the saves, so only Areola in the orange, and then a few in the yellow, some of which aren't even playing these days. So let's have a quick look at the plan and the team. So this was my original plan. If Ekitike was going to be out for a while, I was going to make the move Anderson out for Palmer, and I needed some money. So I was going to go early for Calvert-Lewin from Ekitike and have him in place, even though they're playing Newcastle. If Ekitike was going to be gone for a while, then the plan was to have somebody in and get him ready for the the 2 in 3 single game day captaincies, and then a move for Gabriel from Cunha tomorrow. But we now have plan B, so which is no change today. Obviously, I'm not captain Anderson today. My captain is on Haaland. So I'll put that back in. And then tomorrow, the plan is to move Cunha. And I'm going to go for Gabriel rather than Saliba. Arsenal play Liverpool and Forest in their next 2 games. And apparently they're really bad for set-piece goals. So it could be Gabriel. And then I'm bringing back Declan Rice. Now he's not injured again, for Elliot Anderson. So basically I've moved Rice for Rodgers, and now I'm bringing Rice back in for Anderson. So it's basically the same as doing Rodgers for Anderson, but we managed to get the single game day captaincy out of him. I've got it down as Rice as captain, but I think I'm going to go for Gabriel. Maybe when I was messing about with this earlier, I put them in the other way around. And then the next games then aren't until Saturday the 17th. So if I put my slide back on again. So we will be back for Friday Night Live, and it will be on Friday the 16th when we will look forward to Game Week 23, which has three sets of fixture days, 7 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday, which is Wolves against Newcastle and Aston Villa against Everton, hence having Rodgers in. And then this Monday night game is Brighton against Bournemouth. Right, it's just time for everybody to go and get themselves a drink, get settled down and watch the matches. I'm not sure how Sky are doing this multi-view tonight with 6 games all at the same time. We shall see. So, yeah. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you like the video, please give it a like, and we will see you again next time round. Cheers, everybody.